Hi there, I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist J.P. Dice and Wes Wyatt here. We're talking severe weather tonight.
We are. We're still watching this line of active storms, and you know we've seen in the model data throughout the past couple of days that as this gets closer to us, we may see different parts of the line stronger, and that's exactly what's going on out there tonight. But I guess kind of get into what's happening right now, JP.
Look at that.
Yeah, we were just talking about the winds out there, just the gradient winds alone, and I made warning of this earlier today. It was in the 70s. We had record-setting highs. Somebody may be thinking, you know what? I'm going to get out there on the boat and hit the water. Probably not a good idea with winds like this.
Absolutely not. And earlier today, even now, the winds at about 3,000 feet are coming in at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So just above our heads, those winds are howling. This is our Fox 6 Sky Vision camera at Motorsport Superstore in Hamilton. And take note of the power lines there, the telephone lines, the traffic lights. They are swaying in the wind because of, as Wes mentioned, those gradient winds out of the south right now. And we are focusing in, at least at this point in time.
I'll get over here and drive radar for you.
On northwest Alabama. I've got circled there an area in the Shoals down through Marion, Lamar, Fayette counties where we are likely to see high wind damage. This is the area I think is going to be hit the hardest, at least initially, with these high winds. Also the potential for some tornadoes. You see on the map there what we refer to as the Barber poles. Those are shear indicators from Fox 6 Live Viper. These storms moving east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour. That wind shear is coming in at, over 125 miles per hour of shear there. BTI is a 2.3, so that's fairly low, but just keep in mind that BTI is going to be a little off. During the winter time, it's a little iffy on that, so sometimes with a lower BTI, even during the winter time, you can actually have a tornado. But even if we don't see a tornado with these, we are going to be looking at winds over 60 or 70 miles per hour. How many miles, Wes, is that from it?
Just taking a look, let me grab the distance tool here. Earlier, we were roughly 100 miles off to the west of Marion County. Look at that now, 45 miles. These storms, this line is closing in on Tupelo, and I was just looking at a discussion from the National Weather Service in Huntsville, and something all day, up until this point, our main concern has been discrete lone storms, little cells like this popping up and rotating, and so far so good, but Huntsville is becoming a little more concerned with what we're seeing here around Russellville, heading into Colbert, Franklin counties. And as you mentioned right there over the far northwestern part of the area here starting off, but you can see that we do actually have some of these cells. There's a little bit of lightning down here near Louisville, Mississippi, just south of Columbus, a little cell. So let's keep an eye on these in the short term. And then you see the main line is back in here. And you're probably thinking, I had the just the Columbus radar turned on there. If I take this off and we flip over to composite mode, this continues south into Jackson. As you can see, we're just looking at the one radar site right there out of Columbus, Mississippi. So there's another look, another vantage point for you.
And by the way, these storms have a history of packing a punch. Brett Adair just confirmed with me, South Clarksdale, Mississippi, fatalities with a tornado earlier this afternoon.
So that is confirmed.
Confirmed.
Wow.
Fatalities. I don't know how many. I understand it was a mobile home is what I'm hearing from Brett. So Brett is en route to Marion County right now. He's going to provide some streaming coverage for us later this evening. So we're going to keep you updated with that. Let's talk about a timeline here. Severe weather threat could be as early as 8 p.m. for northwest Alabama. More than likely 9:30, 10 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame. 11 p.m. I-65 corridor over toward 3 to 6 a.m. over in East Alabama. I am still pretty confident, even though the threat for severe weather is area-wide, it is going to be west and northwest Alabama with the highest risk for severe storms. These temperatures are crazy. Today, first day of winter, temperatures in the lower to mid-70s across the area. There's a little misnomer there. It's not 59 degrees in Fayette. They've got a bad sensor, so don't let you think there's a little cool pool of air there. That's not so, but everything else is correct. Temperatures are going to be fairly warm through the evening. I think we'll continue to stay right around 70 degrees. And then dew point temperatures in the upper 60s, especially, look at this, west of Interstate 65. We're seeing those dew points near 70.
Look at Hamilton right there at 70.
Now, I will tell you, Aniana and Gadsden and Center, with those dew points down into the lower 60s, they may be low enough to really decrease that severe weather threat. But west of Interstate 65, those are some crazy high dew points. Again, ignore Fayette there. They've got a bad sensor, and that's why that temperature is so much cooler. Right now, wind direction is out of the south. We're seeing some wind speeds up to 22 miles per hour in Birmingham. I tell you right now, those jets coming in on runway 624, they are battling a heck of a crosswind tonight coming in. 20 mile per hour winds in Tuscaloosa and 14 mile per hour winds in Fayette. West, there's a look at our RPM model that we've been watching. RPM kind of slows this down just a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of slows it down a little bit, kind of weakens it, as you see here. Just kind of analyzing the model. We've been keeping a close eye on the different updates that we've had all day long. And, of course, now we're in radar watch mode. But what we do see here, look at this at 2:30. It kind of slows and weakens this line a little bit. We may be seeing some of that weakening phase down around Jackson at this point. But watch what happens. It kind of flares up again as we go into the overnight hours. You're going to see little ripples along a line like this. That's why we call them we call them linear, quasi-linear convective systems, because they're wavy. And when they approach, a lot of times in those little waves and those little ripples, you'll see a little flare-up of severe thunderstorm warnings. But, so far we have been really keeping an eye. We checked Jackson. The sounding certainly looked unstable enough earlier. What's going on to the south? And one of the reasons we probably don't see so many warnings right there to the south has been CAP. And just checked with Jackson, and that has eroded away. And just looking at the radar right now, the storms are actually making their way through Jackson with no warnings at this point, which is always good. But it is plenty unstable. We definitely have the wind speed shear, which is supportive of straight line winds. And a lot of the damage that we're seeing coming in out of Mississippi tonight, we've seen a lot of trees, power lines down, Grenada County, Boulevard County. We've seen some of those reports. And mainly, even though there have been some tornado warnings, it's been power poles down, trees down, more representative of straight line winds.
And again, that fatality, or those fatalities that we're getting in, that was south of Clarksdale, Mississippi. What I think, how this thing's going to evolve, I don't think it's going to be a night where we've got 20 tornado warnings or 15 or anything like we've had in the past. I think this is going to be one of those deals where you see one or two key storms with this that we're going to have to really watch. And more than anything, aside from those one or two key storms, you're going to be looking at more of that linear system producing those high winds as it moves across the state. So for most of us, it's going to be a high wind threat. For some of us, we're probably going to end up tracking the tornadoes. The big question that I'm getting, where's that going to be? I think it's going to be areas west of Interstate 65. If we want to narrow that on down, Lamar, Fayette, Winston, Walker, and Marion counties on northward to the Shoals area. There's our future cast taking us through tomorrow afternoon. Even though most of this active weather is going to be east over into the Atlanta metro area, what we're going to see some residual showers, cloudy skies tomorrow, and also as that shear lifts out to the northeast, the severe weather threat will decrease some going into Georgia and the Carolinas. But what will happen here is you're going to be looking at some of the daytime heating over to the east. So we could see, again, some flare-ups over in Georgia as that system moves farther off to the east. But the rain probably through southeast Alabama for a while. It's going to stick around there. Weather Source is always a good reminder here. We will be streaming weather coverage if we go wall-to-wall with the tornado warning, foxalabamalive.com, as well as on TV on Fox 6 News. Mobile stream on our weather app and our weather blog. We have just been keeping that updated. Of course, you may be watching this on our weather blog, My Fox